Paul and Lori Hogan are two of the most important people in my life. They are people that I look up to.
They really live out their faith and want to make the world a better place. And I think that they do that and will continue to do that into the future.
Paul and Lori are inspiring, they're kind, they're genuine. They are great examples of not only Nebraska, but worldwide leaders.
I met Lori on a blind date when I was a junior in college. She was going to UNO and I was going to Lincoln.
I was so pleasantly surprised. It was a great first date. And then it blossomed. 3 years later, we got married and had 4 children. And he was in the franchising program club that they had at UNL.
One of the things we did as the franchise club was we solicited franchisors for internships. And one of those internships came up with Mary Maids. And I applied for that internship and I got that internship. I got along with that company so well that they ended up hiring me at the end of that internship, and that's what launched my franchising sort of career. The whole company was based on our experience with my grandmother, Eleanor Manhart. She lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. She got so weak at one point she couldn't even get out of her own chair, and my mom rallied the family together and had the big meeting and decided on 2 things. Number 1, no nursing home. And the other thing is my mom raised her hand and said, hey, let's bring her up to my house. We'll all chip in, keep her comfortable for that last little while. And with that last little while turned into 11 years. We saw firsthand you didn't have to be a doctor or a nurse to have a huge impact on someone's life. So we put together a group of caregivers to go and do the same thing my family did for others.
Being a franchise model, it's so great because you can have that local small business feel, but you're part of a larger network, which gives you so many benefits. And from the very beginning, my parents always stressed relationship before task. You know, we are in the homes of older adults to perform certain tasks, but it's that relationship, that companionship that's really, really important. And then they carried that through all of the relationships within the whole organization, whether it was with the franchise owners or with the headquarters staff. Just always a huge focus on building that relationship and personal connection.
Paul and Lori just set all of their franchise owners up with all of the tools that they would need to be successful. They offered you so much support, whether it be marketing support, whether it be financial support. They would have people come out to our local territory and spend a few days with us. So they poured a lot of resources into our local market. And the one thing that I felt like was very important is no matter where you're at on your journey with Homestead, whether you're just getting started or whether you've grown into to be one of the top franchise owners, you were treated the exact same. They were just wonderful to you, and it felt like you had the backing of hundreds and hundreds of people behind you every single day when you're out there, so you feel like you're not alone out there doing your business.
The Homestead model, caring for seniors in their home and having personalized care for the senior, would fit in any country because almost every country had a need for that.
The first person to come to us and approach us was Yoshino Nakajima. She was involved in franchising, came to Paul and said, you need to come to Japan because my parents are there and they're aging and they need help. And so she helped us to start our very first international franchise over in Japan.
Homestead's now in 12 countries. We have nearly 1,200 franchises, do about 70 million hours of care a year, about 65,000 caregivers.
I don't think you can find 2 people that are more deserving than Paul and Lori Hogan.
I've had really good and even great bosses through my career, seriously, but I've never worked for anybody that was more inspiring than Paul and Lori, so it was the perfect last job for me to do in my career because I don't know that you could ever find anyone that were as good a leaders as Paul and Lori.
I'm incredibly proud and excited for them to be inducted into this Nebraska Business Hall of Fame. I think it's a tremendous honor and one that's so well-deserved.
We invested nearly 3 decades of our life, the prime time of our life, into one business. There were many, many, many opportunities to sell.
It had to be the right opportunity, the right time, the right organization or person to purchase. For Honor to come in, what was very compelling to them was the element of technology and being able to take the organization into the future.
We saw their capabilities, and we just felt it'd be selfish to stand between what our network needed and this technology opportunity.
We love Nebraska. I represented Nebraska as Miss Nebraska long ago, so we're very, very honored to be inducted into the Nebraska Business Hall of Fame.
I see the list of people who've been inducted, and it's like, wow, really? This is amazing. So it's a huge honor, and feel blessed to be recognized like this, because hopefully it will just help to lead more people to consider all the possibilities, how they can stay at home with more awareness of the company and what we do.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Lori and I are extremely humbled and very, very gracious or just filled with gratitude about this award. It's a really prestigious award. We're honored to be in the Hall of Fame for Nebraska. And we also extend our sincerest congratulations to all the other distinguished recipients. And again, there's so many to thank, but I guess I'd obviously start with the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and honoring, and thank you for honoring business this way. Brian, you and your team here at the Chamber do a great job making Nebraska a great place to do business. And also we want to thank the College of Business. Dean, you do a wonderful job, fantastic job, in fact, teaching students how to do business in the state of Nebraska here, so thank you. And I know this, I've been in your classrooms, and the intelligence and the enthusiasm's just off the charts. And that's where it all began for me in the 1980s at the College of Business, and I was in the entrepreneurship program and the franchise studies program. I have fond memories of meeting the late now Dr. Robert Justice. He wrote the book on franchising, and I took his course. I was a member of the Franchise Studies Club, and those were really key stepping stones to our success and Homestead's success for sure. I'd say, though, 30 years ago, receiving an award like this was the furthest thing from our mind. It seems like all we could think about back then was just getting through this week. I remember calling my mentor, Dallin Peterson, and I said, Dallin, I've got big news for you. I quit my job, and Lori and I are starting our own business. It's going to be called Homestead. And I was so shocked at his reaction. He said, Paul, are you sure you know what you're doing? I said, it is so tough. Being in your own business, it's like staying one step ahead of starvation. And my knee-jerk reaction was, wow, that sounds exciting. And then I remember also hanging up the phone. I thought, wow, how naive. And that was a dumb thing to say. But in contrast, however, the message I was getting from the one standing right next to me here tonight was quite different. In February of 1994, Lori knew it was time. She just knew it was time to either start this business or stop talking about it. And she said, Paul, just go for it. Everything's going to work out. We're going to be just fine. So obviously she shared that excitement. And ladies and gentlemen, Lori.
Thank you. Yes, I consider myself the woman behind the man. So I was really thrilled to start this business together as husband and wife, and it's been such a glorious ride. And I want to thank God for allowing us to work alongside of him in caring for his aging population. For Matthew 25 tells us, Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. And what a privilege and an incredible, incredible responsibility. Well, we could not have done this alone and on our own, that's for sure. And like the video said and Lakeland said, it's all about relationships, and we learned that early on. They were so special to us. And we're so grateful for the many relationships that we have forged with many of you in the room here, like our Nebraska business professionals, our state senators, and community leaders who believed in us and our mission. So we just really attribute many that you were instrumental to our success, and I thank you for that. But most importantly, we have some very special people in front of us who helped us along this journey, who believed in us, our family, just our heartfelt gratitude. My mother and Paul's mother were our first caregivers in the business. My dad helped in editing our materials. Our children all helped to work in the business as interns, just so that they knew what their parents did, because we didn't always talk about it around the table. But we are just so grateful. Lakeland is still working at home instead and carrying the torch there. So we are eternally grateful to all of you. And then, of course, we couldn't do it without the amazing staff that we had. We are Homestead family, and we always will be. Even though we sold the business, when we gather together, we are so excited to see each other like family, the kind you want to be around. And so our CEO here and Kathy Daniel International, Jenny Redden, she's our assistant. Can't live without her, I'm telling you, and neither can any of our family members. And then our McGuire family, who Paul knew growing up. You know, some of your best friends become great franchise owners. And then Gisela working with us in every aspect of the business. And I just attribute so much of our success to our colleagues and staff members. So heartfelt gratitude to all of you. So we pray that the work that we have done today makes caring for aging adults so much easier for future generations. I am confident that our meaningful work that we have done has brought glory to God. So once again, we want to thank the Nebraska State Chamber and Nebraska College of Business for this lovely recognition. Unbelievable. Paul and I feel very, very blessed to be included among the ranks of the well-respected inductees who have preceded us. There truly is no place like Nebraska, that is for sure. Right? I feel like singing the fight song, Go Big Red, right? Thank you, and God bless you all for this award. Thank you for being here. Thank you.